To give you guys some tips for the cardiovascular system of how I'm going to be studying. That chapter, before this semester, when I looked through the book, I was mostly overwhelmed by cardiovascular system and the endocrine system. So managed to get through the endocrine system, but now we're on to the cardiovascular system. So I think I'm starting to find some things that could be helpful. So this is one of the first things that I would recommend you start with, and try and do some of this before, like she did mention today about reading ahead and studying ahead, and she does say that in the syllabus that she recommends or, encourages us to read the chapters of the book or books ahead of time before the lecture, which if the lecture is the first time, she actually does a really good job of explaining these things. But if the lecture is the first time you've ever heard any of those words, you're going to probably be really confused because, these aren't things that you talk about every day to be able to be familiar with it. So you need to be familiar with the terms first. So let's see. This is the Quizlet that I'm working on. It is still in progress. Anyway, so this is what I have so far. I'm very picky about how I set up my, so having a baby, I've got all these wonderful ads for bottles and formula in my newsfeed. Okay, so term definition. I keep it very clear, term and definition, so that whenever I go here to flashcards, and then I have
the delicate innermost layer of the entire pericardium, which covers the heart, a serous membrane, also called epicardium, protects the heart by reducing friction.
Okay, so I'll go to options and make sure my audio is on. And then I'm going to, you can
the delicate innermost layer of the entire pericardium, which covers the heart, a serous membrane.
I do put a lot of information on my slides, not my slides, but on my Quizlet. I do put a lot of information. So, but I will just hit play, trying to get to something that's maybe not so long.
The space between the parietal and visceral serous layers of pericardium.
And if you have play on
pericardial cavity.
You can try and
painful
guess
inflammation of the pericardium, often due to viral or bacterial infection. Pericarditis.
So what I like to do is try and guess. So it'll read me the term first, and then as I get more familiar with it, I'll start to be like, oh yeah, I know that one. So that's really what I do. It's very efficient. I can do it on my commute. Okay, so anyway, the other thing that I think is going to be really, really important for the cardiovascular system is, I don't know if everybody's taking lab alongside this, alongside lecture this semester, but this is an app that I use on my computer. It's called Complete Anatomy, and I really like it. It's like $35 for the full student version. I did not really understand, this is not at all what I got from the book. Whenever I was looking at the cross sections and the diagrams in the book, this was not kind of what I had in mind. And it's so cool that it shows like the heart actually beating. So that's really helpful. So what I'm planning to do is to play around with this app and just, poke around, read some of these things, read the info, look at the cross sections. I'm not sure how helpful those will be, but you can look at, so that's interesting. Not kind of got the heart right there. But yeah, so looking at this whole overview diagram, just like the main model, like that's just so cool to be able to look at the two atria, and then these little pieces, and then you can go here and have it fade it or hide it to be able to see all the little things, and you can zoom in and really be looking at all of this stuff, which I think is just really awesome. You can start studying the blood vessels here, and it'll even tell
brachiocephalic trunk.
Read some of those things to you if you want. Another thing, let's see, let me see if I can find it. I kind of don't always find, okay, the hub, what was that? It was the atlas. That's where I was looking at last night. And what I did was I filtered it by the thoracic region. And then these are all, it's like, a page out of an atlas. So this narrowed it down, and you could go here, and it's, it's like a page out of a book. So you just click on that, and it's going to show you these things. So you can make that go away. And you're like, oh, okay. Those are the, the anterior cardiac veins or interventricular septum, which, let's see, if you click on that, it'll give you some dots, and it gives you more info. So I really like the atlas. And then you can get back here, coronary arteries. She definitely talked about that today. I guess that was in lab. But yeah, so the atlas has been really helpful for me too. This was also cool, kind of seeing like the fibrous pericardium, which you can go back if you want to go on the actual like main model and not just inside the atlas if you want to go back and look at that. But yeah, just to understand like the blood flow through the heart. Let's see, I know it gets into, let me see if I can find the valves. Okay, so here it gets into some of the stuff with the valves to be able to understand the blood flow, how the blood flow is going to go through the heart. And here, kind of the same thing, looking at those valves. And okay, another thing I can show you on here, let me go back to my thing. Okay, if you go to courses, I think this is something with the student model. Well, this is cool. I haven't even really looked at this, the histology part for lab, but if you go to undergraduate human anatomy systemic, it's got a teacher, like a professor talking through all these different things. This has been so helpful. Okay, so here we go, cardiovascular system. So you can go click on that, and this is the introduction, and he's going to go through and use this app, but he like knows how to use it really well, and he's going to talk you through all the cool things. Let's see.
The cardiovascular system forms a major component of the circulatory system. By broader definition,
okay, so I'll skip ahead a little bit.
The outflow path from the heart to the tissues is within the arteries. The arterial system is a vast network of hollow tubes that will take the blood from the heart out towards all of the...
Okay, and then interspersed they have these reviews where it's kind of like the page from the atlas where you click on something and it'll help you see what that thing is. Okay, then he's going to get into arteries. Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go.
The arteries
okay,
of our body.
The thing that I'm having the most trouble with is, let's see if they get to blood flow through the heart. Okay, so this is really just the introduction. So I don't guess that they're...
Body are the component of the cardiovascular.
I don't know. And you can also do it on faster speed. So he's talking a little slow for me. But let's see. I don't know how do I get out of this. How do I go back? Okay, go back. And I'm sure there's a whole... No, that's not. I'm trying to exit. There we go. Okay, so the heart. So this will probably be, well, should be where he goes through and talks about, where he goes through and talks about like blood flow through the heart and here we go, blood flow through the heart. So that's going to be something really that I'm going to need to focus on. Then he gets into valves, all the different valves and stuff. So this is so cool because he knows how to use the software. Let's see, where do we go? Blood flow through the heart. Where did it go? Here we go. Okay. Sometimes it takes a minute.
The human heart consists of 4 different chambers, 2 of which will be aligned more posteriorly and superiorly, and 2 of which will be located more anteriorly and inferiorly. These chambers are, respectively, the right and left atria and the right and left ventricles.
So that's so helpful.
Now we can think of the atria's role as predominantly going to be to receive the blood from the body. So we will have one side which will receive it from the body.
Okay.
Let's take a closer look now at the right side of the heart and the deoxygenated blood flow. We will begin here with the right atrium. The right atrium is going to receive deoxygenated blood from 3 primary sources, beginning superiorly with the superior vena cava.
So I'm probably going to be focusing on this because that's a problem area that I've been noticing. But I hope that was helpful to show you how I'm studying. I just know that I'm going to understand the concepts so much better if I have this, most people learn pretty visually. So if you have this, then you're able to really get that image in your mind of what it looks like. And then that's going to help you understand like the function and all that. So anyway, I hope that was helpful.